Hello dear students, we are recording about the human heart. In the previous lecture, as you saw that we discussed about the outer and some inner parts of the heart also. We are recording about anatomy of the heart, so we should know about the structure of the heart, that what is the heart composed of, and what is the heart as an organ, so what is its composition. So in this lecture I am discussing with you about the structure of the heart, right? Structure of heart. Clear, friends? Okay. Friends, our heart is composed of three layers. Our heart is composed of three layers, and those layers are called, the first one is the outer layer, and this is called epicardium. Epicardium. The second one is myocardium. Myocardium. And the third one is endocardium. Endocardium, right? Cardium is referred to a heart. So epi means above, myo means muscle layer, and endocardium means inner layer, right? So our heart structurally is composed of three layers, and these are the epicardial layer, myocardial layer, and endocardial layer. Now let's discuss about these layers a little bit so that we could know about the structure of our heart. We should know some knowledge about the structure. So the first one layer is the epicardium. What is epicardium? Let me show all these three layers in the diagram here. Okay, friends, if this is let me draw one ventricle only. This is our ventricle. Either this one or this one. If we see this ventricle, this ventricle is also a cardiac tissue, cardiac part. So it must be composed of three parts, three layers. This is the innermost layer, right? This is the inner layer. And in between here, then there is the muscular layer, which is called myocardium. This is our muscular layer. Myo means muscles. Cardiomyocytes are present there. And then there is the outer epicardium. And this epicardium is in connection with pericardial fluid and pericardial cavity, right? Pericardial fluid and pericardial cavity. So these three layers are the layers of the heart. This inner is the endocardium. This one is myocardium. And this one is, epicardium. What is epicardium? Yes, it is the outermost layer, isn't it? Outermost layer. I will tell you about its composition. It is the outermost layer. It is also called visceral pericardium. Visceral pericardium, because it is around the viscera, it is around the organ. That's why we call it visceral pericardium. It is also known as visceral pericardium, right? Then we say, what is its composition? This outer layer is composed of, number one, let me write it here. It is composed of loose connective tissue. It is composed of loose connective tissue. It also has elastic fibers, and it also has adipose tissue. Right? So the composition of epicardium is like this. Look. It is composed of loose connective tissue. It contains some loose connective tissue. It contains elastic fibers. Yes. And it contains adipose tissue so that the temperature of the heart could be and the energy could be provided to the heart. Adipose tissues, elastic fibers and loose connective tissue. What is its function? It protects the heart. It protects the heart, right? And as you guys know that here is a cavity, and this cavity is called, this is pericardial cavity, and here is a fluid, and this fluid is called pericardial fluid. So the first function of this epicardium is it protects the heart, and here are special cells, and these cells produce pericardial fluid. It protects the heart, it produces pericardial fluid. It produces pericardial fluid, epicardium. And what does it contain? It contains nerves, connections from brain, and it contains arteries and veins of the heart. So it contains nerves which come to the heart, arteries and veins. Clear, friends? So inside the epicardium are the nerves, the arteries and the veins of the heart present, right? Let's make the diagram of it. For example, friends, if this is our myocardium, right? This is our myocardial tissue, which is the middle layer, myocardial tissue. So here is the outer and here is the endocardium. This is our endocardium. This is myocardium. Outside will be epicardium. So here is those tissues, loose connective tissue, adipose tissue, and some elastic fibers are also present there, and here are some special cells, and these cells help in the production of pericardial fluids. So these are called mesothelial cells. Right? So these mesothelial cells are the outer cells. For example, here are our mesothelial cells. So inside the mesothelial cells, right, in between the mesothelial layer and the myocardium, there is the elastic fibers present, connective tissue, loose connective tissue and adipose tissue present. So this was the structure, and these were some important points related to the epicardium of the heart, right? So this was epicardium. What is it? It is the outermost layer. It is also known as visceral pericardium. It is made up of loose connective tissue, elastic fibers and adipose tissue. Its function is to protect the heart and produce pericardial fluid and release it to the pericardial cavity. And it contains arteries, veins and nerves. So now we discuss about the myocardium. This was about epicardium. Let's discuss about myocardium. Okay. Second layer. Myocardium. Here, friends, myo means muscles, right? So about myocardium, it is the middle layer, right? It is the middle layer, It is the most thicker layer. As you can see, it is the thickest layer. So it is the thickest layer. The third point and the most important thing, it is the thickest layer. It is also known as the muscular layer. Muscular layer of the heart. Which cells are present there? Cardiomyocytes. Cardiomyocytes. The cells of which muscles? Cardiac muscles are present here. Cardiomyocytes are present here. Yes, we say that these cells are connected through intercalated discs. These cells are connected through intercalated discs. Right, intercalated discs. Now let me explain these intercalated discs here. Friends, not only these cells are present, not only cardiomyocytes are present, so some protein fibers are also present there which hold these cells together, right? So we say protein fibers. Protein fibers which hold, or connective tissue also, loose connective tissue. Connective tissue also there, right? So let's make these intercalated discs. For example, friends, if this is one cardiac myocyte and this is other cell, this is other cell. So these cells are connected through special gap junctions. First of all, these are gaps in between these cells, and here is also another gap, right? These are the cells, right? As we know, they are multinucleated, okay? These are called gap junctions. Gap junctions, or communicating gaps between the cells, communicating junctions, right? Look carefully. These communicating junctions are held together by special proteins. Clear? Next, around these cells are special proteins present. And these proteins are also interconnected with each other. Clear, friends? Here also those proteins are present. And these proteins are also connected with each other too. Clear? So these are called intercalated discs. Intercalated discs. Now, what are the parts of these discs? The first part is gap junction, right? Then there are fascia, adherence, and then there are, yes, desmosomes. Desmosomes. Clear? So the components of intercalated discs, these three are the most important components of these intercalated discs. These are, yes, gap junctions, fascia adherence, and desmosomes. These proteins are, these interconnected proteins are the fascia adherence. Clear? So friends, this was about myocardium of the heart, a very little detail. That is, it is the muscular layer, it is the middle layer, it is the thickest layer, it contains cardiomyocytes. These are the cells of the cardiac tissue, and cells are connected through intercalated discs. These discs contain gap junctions through which the exchange of materials occurs, and some proteins or connective tissue is also present in this layer. This was some very little detail about the myocardium of the heart. Now we move towards the endocardium of the heart. Let's know something about endocardium, the last layer of the structure of the heart, that is endocardium. Okay. As everyone knows, it is the inner layer. It is the inner layer, right? The second point, this inner layer covers both the atria, both ventricles and valves of the heart. All of these will be explained in the diagram, inshallah. Right? So it is the inner layer. It covers the atria, ventricles and valves of the heart. Right? The third important point is that valves and atria are three-layered. And ventricles are five-layered. What are those layers? Those are, the first one is the endothelium, inner or vascular endothelium, vascular endothelium. Second one is connective tissue layer, and the third one is the muscle layer. Clear? Let me make the diagram of the endocardium. Friends, this is our epicardium. Clear? Then there is, as we discussed earlier, this is our myocardium. And then there is endocardium. Okay? So this endocardium, in the atria and valves, this endocardium is about three layers, has about three layers. Okay, let's make the complete heart, then it will be clear. This is the atria, these are the valves, right? And the lower is the ventricle. This is ventricle. Now look. As we are discussing endocardium, so this is the first layer, then there is the second layer, right? This is the second layer, comes toward up to valves, second layer, and then there is the third layer. Clear, friends? So in the atria and valves, the endocardium is three-layered. Vascular endothelium, in which vessels are present. Then there is muscular endothelium, right? Muscular endothelium, and then there is connective tissue endothelium. Clear? Now we come towards ventricles. In the ventricles, the endothelium is five-layered. This is the outer of these five, right? Then there is other layer, which I will name then there is the third layer, and then there is fourth and fifth layer in the, yes, ventricles, right? So in ventricle, in valves and atria it is 3 layered, and in ventricles it is 5 layered. Those 5 layers are the first ventricles. In ventricles it is, this endocardium is about 5 layered. What are those? This one, the innermost is the endothelium, right? Then the second layer, this one is inner connective tissue layer, inner connective tissue layer. Then there is, the third one is elastic layer, right? Then this fourth one, this red one, if you see, is the muscular layer or muscle layer. And then last one is outer connective tissue layer, outer connective tissue. Clear? So this was about endocardium. Now you can see from this composition, you can see the composition of this endocardium. Endocardium is composed of, yes, endothelial layer, muscle layer and connective tissue layer, right? But in case of ventricles, there are 5 layers. Endothelium, there is inner connective tissue, there are elastic fibers. Why these elastic fibers are present? Because ventricles contract strongly. So for strong contraction of ventricles, there should be strong muscular layer and strong elastic layer, right? And then there is outer connective tissue layer. So friends, this was about the endocardium of the heart. Right, in this video we discussed about the epicardium, myocardium and endocardium in a little detail. So friends, in the previous video we discussed about the anatomy of the heart. This was the end of our lecture according to the heart, according to the pumping organ of the human circulatory system. So in next lectures we will discuss about what are arteries, what are veins and what are capillaries. Be with us. Please subscribe our channel. Please hit the bell icon and to receive all those notifications from us. Thank you so much.